4, 5.
My report is about reptiles and amphibians. Here are some examples of reptiles. Reptiles are tetrapod animals in the class Reptilia, comprising today's turtles, crocodilians, snakes, amphibians, lizards, tuatara, and their extinct relatives. The study of these traditional reptile orders, historically combined with that of modern amphibians, is called herpetology. Reptiles are air-breathing vertebrates covered in special skin made up of scales, bony plates, or a combination of both. They include crocodiles, snakes, lizards, turtles, and tortoises. All regularly shed the outer layer of their skin. Their metabolism depends on the temperature of the environment. Here are the characteristics of reptiles. All reptiles have a backbone, which means they are vertebrates. All reptiles produce eggs. Most reptiles lay hard-shelled eggs, but a few give birth to live young. All reptiles have scales or scutes. Reptiles are ectothermic or cold-blooded, which means they cannot control their own body temperature. Reptiles' habitat. Today, reptiles live in a wide range of habitats. They can be found on every continent except Antarctica. Many turtles live in the ocean while others live in freshwater or on land. Lizards are all terrestrial, but their habitats may range from deserts to rainforests and from underground burrows to the top of trees. Reptiles live all over the world except in Antarctica. Most reptile species can be found in the tropic and subtropic regions. Many types of lizards like the hot, dry desert areas. Some turtles and snakes spend most of their lives in the ocean. Here are the types of reptiles. There are more than 8,200 living species of reptiles, and they are placed in 4 orders. The Crocodilia, which includes crocodiles and alligators, Sphenodontia or tuataras, Squamata, which include lizards and snakes, and Testudines, such as turtles and tortoises. The main categories are snakes, crocodiles and alligators, turtles and lizards. Reptiles can be found on every continent except for Antarctica. Alligators and crocodiles look slow but can move very quickly when attacking. Snakes are legless reptiles. Here is Crocodilia. Crocodilia is an order of mostly large predatory semi-aquatic reptiles known as crocodilians. They first appeared 95 million years ago in the late Cretaceous period and are closest living relatives of birds, as the two groups are the only known survivors of the Archosauria. Here are the examples of crocodilia. The Alligatoridae, Alligator misipiensis, or Alligator sinensis, the Crocodilidae, Crocodilius acuscus, and Crocodilius mindorensis, and Gavialidae, Gavialis gangeticus. And this is an example of Sphenodontia, which is it's like a lizard also, which includes Tuataras, Gepirosaurus, Tuatara, and Gepirosauridae. And Squamata, which includes lizards and snakes. Squamata is the largest order of reptiles comprising lizards, snakes, and amphibians, which are collectively known as squamates or scaled reptiles. With over 10,000 species, it is also the second largest order of extant vertebrates after perciform fish and roughly equal in number to the Saurischia. Here are examples of squamata. Lizards or Lacertilia. There are more than 4,500 species of lizards alive today, making them the most diverse group of all squamates. Members of this group include iguanas, chameleons, geckos, night lizards, blind lizards, skinks, anguids, bedded lizards, and many others. Snakes or serpentes. There are about 2,900 species of snakes alive today. Members of this group includes boas, colubirds, pythons, vipers, blind snakes, mole vipers, and sunbeam snakes. Snakes have no limbs, but their legless nature doesn't stop them from being among the world's most formidable reptilian predators. And worm lizards or Amphisbaenia. There are about 130 species of worm lizards alive today. Members of this group are burrowing reptiles that spend most of their life underground. Worms lizards have sturdy skulls that are well suited for digging tunnels. And Testudines. Testudinata is the group of all tetrapods with a true turtle shell. It includes both modern turtles and many of their extinct shelled relatives. Though it was first coined as the group containing turtles by Klein in 1760, it was first defined in the modern sense by Joyce and colleagues in 2004. Here are examples of Testudine. Cryptodira. The Cryptodira is a suborder of Testudines that includes most living tortoises and turtles. Examples are Selonidae, Ermididae, and Testudinidae. The next is Pleurodira. The Pleurodira are one of the two living suborders of turtles, that other being the Cryptodira. The division between these two suborders represents a very deep evolutionary divide between two very different types of turtles, the Shellidae, Pelomulidicidae, and Pedonemidae. Here are the body parts of reptiles. As you can see here, spinal cord, the brain, esophagus, and so on. And let's discuss the body parts of reptiles. The skin of a reptile has scales. Some animals lose their old scales and grow new ones 2 or 3 times a year. Turtles have very hard scales called plates. They use them as a kind of protection from enemies in the outside world. The digestive system of a reptile depends on what kind of food it eats. Meat eaters have a very simple stomach and a short intestine. Plant eaters like turtles have a more complicated stomach and long intestines. Crocodiles have large stomach muscles because they have to chew the flesh they eat into small pieces. Some reptiles produce poison. They bite the attackers and inject poison into them. The victim may be paralyzed or even killed. Most reptiles have a good sense of vision. Not all of them can hear well. Some of them hear by feeling vibrations on the ground. Reptiles breathe through their lungs. They normally have 2 lungs, but some snakes only have 1. The food of reptiles. With few exceptions, modern reptiles feed on some form of animal life such as insects, mollusks, birds, frogs, mammals, fishes, or even other reptiles. Land tortoises are vegetarians, eating leaves, grass, and even cactus in some cases. Most reptiles are carnivorous and they swallow the prey whole. They use teeth only to hold the prey. Poisonous snakes use fang for self-protection and killing the prey. Lizards that live here mostly eat small invertebrates. Snakes eat tiny mammals. Next, amphibians. Amphibians are ectothermic tetrapod vertebrates of the class Amphibia. Modern amphibians are all Lysamphibia. They inhabit a wide variety of habitats, with most species living within terrestrial, fossorial, arboreal, or freshwater aquatic ecosystems. Amphibians are small vertebrates that need water or a moist environment to survive. The species in this group includes frogs, toads, salamanders, and newts. All can breathe and absorb water through their very thin skin. Amphibians also have special skin glands that produce useful proteins. The characteristics of amphibians. Amphibians are cold-blooded animals, meaning they do not have a constant body temperature but instead take on the temperature of the environment. They have moist, scaleless skin that absorbs water and oxygen, but that also makes them vulnerable to dehydration, loss of bodily fluids. Without moist conditions, their skin dries out and they die. Therefore, amphibians are most often found near ponds, marshlands, swamps, and other areas where fresh water is available. Some amphibians become inactive when conditions are unfavorable for survival. This period of inactivity is called estivation when it occurs during hot, dry weather, and hibernation when it occurs in response to cold temperature. Activity resumes when favorable conditions return. The thin skin of amphibians contains many glands among the poison glands that protect certain species of predators. The poison from the glands of brightly colored poison dart frog is particularly toxic and is used by South American Indians to coat the tips of their arrows. Some amphibians protect themselves from enemies by changing color to blend with their surroundings. The habitat of amphibians. Most amphibians live on the ground in wetlands or forests. But some live up in trees, and a few species can survive in deserts and other dry habitats. Most kinds of amphibians live in warm, damp climates. Amphibians live in both water and on land. Amphibian larvae are born and live in water, and they breathe using gills. The adults live on land for part of the time and breathe both through their skin and with their lungs. Types of amphibians. The three modern orders of amphibians are Anura, the frogs and toads, Urodela, the salamanders, and Apoda, the caecilians. The number of known amphibian species is approximately 8,000, of which nearly 90% are frogs. The class Amphibia or amphibians include the three orders: Anura, frogs and toads, about 6,500 species; Caudata or Urodela, newts and salamanders, about 680 species; and Gymnophiona or Apoda, caecilians, about 105 species. Anura, the frogs and toads. A frog is any member of a diverse and largely carnivorous group of short-bodied tailless amphibians composing the order Anura. The oldest fossil protofrog appeared in the early Triassic of Madagascar, but molecular clock dating suggests their origins may extend further back to the Permian 265 million years ago. Urodela, the salamanders. Salamanders are a group of amphibians typically characterized by a lizard-like appearance, with slender bodies, blunt snouts, and short limbs projecting at the right angles to the body, and the presence of a tail in both larvae and adults. All present-day salamanders family are grouped together under the order Urodela. Apoda, the caecilians. Caecilians are a group of limbless serpentine amphibians. They mostly live hidden in the ground and in stream substrates, making them the least familiar order of amphibians. Here are the body parts of amphibians: the eye, the nostril, the front leg, the belly, the hind leg. You can see there. The food of amphibians. Most amphibians will eat almost any live food that they can manage to catch and swallow. Insects, spiders, snails, slugs, and earthworms form the main part of the diet of most adult amphibians. Larger species like the homate horned toad will eat larger prey, sometimes even mice. Food is ingested past through the digestive tract by muscular contractions and digested by enzymes produced by the gastrointestinal tract and its indigenous bacteria. Fish and larval amphibians must extract their food from water. Adult amphibians, reptiles, and birds need to conserve water. Difference between reptiles and amphibians. Amphibians are known to live dual lives, as they spend their half life in water and remaining half on land. These also have porous skin, which requires moisture, while reptiles are the group of animals that live on land, breathe through lungs, and lay eggs. They have scales on their body and function to retain moisture. So the essential difference lies in the life cycle and physical appearances. Reptiles have skin covered with scales, breathe air through lungs, and lay hard shelled eggs on land. Amphibians are animals that can live on land or in water, and they are characterized by moist, glandular skin, gills, and lack of scales. So